and like, oh, he's not that good. He's a bum, this, that, and the third. I tried to fight Isaac Cruz first. He was the first person I tried to fight.
I wanted to fight Isaac Cruz initially, and he was the first person I tried to fight under my opponent, saying things like, oh, he's not that good, he's a bum. There was a lot of back and forth about Shakur Stevenson's boldly trolling Isaac Cruz by referring to him as a D-class fighter. In that context, he said that you're avoiding him right now. Well, the Mexican champion isn't having any of that because he just fired back at Shakur for saying that Isaac Cruz is still working hard to land that right, and then the left to the body using lateral movement in defense, even after losing to Devin Davis in 12 rounds. The Mexican boxer received some significant benefits from the battle. Interestingly, Ling put on a strong show against Rolando Romero to secure his desired title and reward for all of his hard work in the sport. After being called out by Ryan Garcia, these two fights have not only given Pitbull Cruz a sizable fan base in Mexico, but also established his reputation as one of the best fighters of this generation. Teofimo Lopez and Devin Davis now have to go back to Shakur Stevenson, a fighter he had decided not to fight a few years ago due to his fighting style. They said no, his team said no, his manager said no, and his father said no, so it's like I can't force these guys to go in the ring. That's why I say that before having to settle for a matchup with Shiro Yoshino, Shakur Stevenson tried his best to entice one of the lightweight division's more established stars into the ring, Isaac Cruz. Oh, I think it would be a canvas, probably. I think it's sad. I think this is boxing in sad state. But after making it painfully clear that Stevenson 20-0-10 knockouts wasn't in their immediate plans, the former Olympian silver medalist turned his attention elsewhere. First, Cruz refused to comment on why they decided to take a different route. But in response to a barrage of inquiries, the team disclosed that Stevenson's defensive strategy would result in a dull battle. Isaac Cruz's manager Shan Gibbons had also explained why his fighter turned down a clash with Shakur Stevenson. I get away with it. I think that the fans and everybody allowed them to duck. I think. Speaking to BOXER, Gibbons said that super lightweight is now one of the most exciting divisions in boxing. He said everybody is going up to fight at 140 aside from Shakur Stevenson, somebody nobody wants to watch. I don't care what weight he's at. He's got a boring, ugly, terrible style. You'll see Cruz and Rayleigh would be a great fight to forget about that previous fight Cruz had. That was my fault. Nobody really got on top of him the way that if I was to do something like that. Or I take all the blame for putting him in with an awful style of boxing. But that's what happens when you fight stinky fighters. At the end of the day, we won't make that mistake again. We want to make exciting fights in 2024. We can't wait anymore as he hasn't had a signature fight since Dan Davis 2 years ago. We got ridiculed for turning Shakur down. But we did the fans a favor, thank God. We turned the fight down as it would have been a bad fight. And not because of us, we can't get Vasily Lomachenko or George Kambosos Jr., so we are focused on either Rayleigh Romero or Ryan Garcia. Next we would fight in a heartbeat. We said we want to fight Ryan, we want to fight Rai, we want to fight anybody but Shakur Stevens. I'm happy he retired, thank God. After taking the time to consider what Team Cruz had to say about his overall style, we can conclude that this fight has all the makings of a major one. Ryan Garcia has a sizable crossover following outside of boxing, and Isaac Cruz has one of the largest Hispanic followings in boxing. Recently, Stevenson responded to what he perceived to be false allegations. Pitbull stated that he doesn't want to smoke during a live Instagram session. Stevenson added, "You know Shakur is a great fighter, but with a style like Isaac Cruz, the guy he would be running worse than Riyad, so I was right there in front of everybody. I don't run." However, Stevenson's most recent comment regarding Isaac Cruz was a derogatory remark that might encourage the Mexican to challenge the New York champion. Shakur responded, He's a D-class fighter. He is way below my level. I'm not threatened by him. He's been avoiding me all this while. This was his third attempt at fighting. It was quite shocking that Shakur Stevenson was making fun of Isaac Cruz, a fighter who the legendary Mike Tyson had duly recognized. After all, it's Shakur Stevenson, and he will stop at nothing to harass fighters and force a fight, given that many of the fighters in his division are sick and tired of his fighting style and would strongly dislike facing him. After his fight against Edwin dos Santos, there is only one bout that is truly going to happen if we like it. Should Shakur Stevenson and Javon Davis fight, Stevenson was even prepared to accept a less dividend payment. One Hetkin referred to Javon Davis as the biggest superstar in the sport. Many people would take this to be accurate. The most important thing was how he identified his opponent and how he disappointingly trolled Isaac Cruz as a D-class fighter. While some may view it as him trying to playfully entice Javon Davis into a fight, I don't really care what people think or what the comments may be. Isaac Cruz has since responded, saying that this D-class boxer is a world champion and that whenever you decide to come, your face will be smashed. It's possible that Isaac Cruz's response wasn't harsh enough or that it would have caused more damage, but the situation with Tank was completely different. Maybe it's I demonstrate my value inside the ring. The 2016 Olympic silver medalist Davis, though, seems certain that he would face one of the sport's top draws, Davis. I think it's the biggest fight in the world, Stevenson told BoxingScene.com of the fight. Since we're discussing skill and boxing in general, I believe that when a fight occurs, it should be publicized and promoted accordingly. He and him are two of the greatest fighters in the world, and in all honesty, I just think that it should be held globally. In my opinion, that will be the best boxing match of the year. Pound for pound, Davis, 29, and Stevenson, 26, are both accomplished fighters who have won world titles in a variety of weight divisions. Although Davis is the WBA's lightweight champion, Stevenson won the Global Boxing Council title that had belonged to Devin Haney, the unbeaten lightweight champion, by defeating De Los Santos in the main event at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Stevenson will eventually go to the 100 to 40-year-old class, but the native of Newark, New Jersey, believes he and Davis will put each other to the test in a lightweight bout. I think 35 is the weight, he says. According to Stevenson, I think that me and him are naturally smaller guys. I'm a 35-pounder by nature, and he's big in terms of thickness, but he ain't like no super tall guy. So I think that he'll fight at 135 for a while too. I don't think that he's planning on going up because we're not talking about somebody that just got a good job or what you talking about like all around do everything pay-per-view match, given that he admitted during an open workout at a top-tier gym that Davis is a unique bankable boxer. Stevenson plans to be reasonable. Superstar 60-40, really, why wouldn't I accept it? Stevenson declared, "Man, I ain't trying to get into the business, but like I said once again, he's the biggest superstar in the sport."